Camarines under Section 51 of RA 12009, otherwise known as the New Government Procurement Act, and is implementing rules and regulation to be conducted by the members of the BAO for the following projects. First is 25F00592, Convergence and Special Support Program, Sustainable Infrastructure Projects Alleviating gaps or SIPAG, access roads and or bridges from the national roads leading to major strategic public buildings facilities, construction of road, Bigao to Sitio, Banasian, San Ramon, Daraga, Albay, 2nd Legislative District. Second is 25F00605, Organizational Outcome 1, Ensure Safe and Reliable National Road System, Network Development Program, construction of bypass and diversion roads to junction Nato-Sabang Coastal Road, Station 0 plus -180 to Station 0 plus 035, Santo Niño to Huyon-Huyon section, Package C, Sagñay, Tigaon, Camarines Sur, Sagñay, Camarines Sur, 4th Legislative District. And lastly is 25F00612, Organizational Outcome 1, Ensure Safe and Reliable National Road System, Network Development Program, Road Widening, Primary Roads, Maharlika Highway, to K0464 plus 609, to K0465 plus 052, K0465 plus 065, to K0465 plus 112, K0474 plus 265, K0474 plus 363, K0474 plus 830 to K0475 plus 111, Baao and Nabua, Camarines Sur, 5th Legislative District. So before we proceed, we introduce to you the attendees for today's activity, starting with myself as the BAC chairperson, Attorney Maharlika, also the Chief of Right of Way Acquisition and Legal Division. On my right is Dr. Maria Chunora Pilo Santas, BAC Vice Chairperson, Chief of the Administrative Division. On my left is Engineer Benjamin J. Victor Jr., BAC Regular Member, Chief of the Quality Assurance and Hydrology Division. Engineer Arnel L. Samson, BAC Provisional Member, Chief of the Maintenance Division, and Engineer Alexela Puna, BAC Provisional Member, Chief of the Construction Division. So to proceed, may I call on Engineer Mariette to present to us the eligibility requirements as well as the technical and financial components of the procurement project.
Application which electronically processes the compliance to the Class A documents such as the legal, technical, and financial documents. Prospective bidders are encouraged to regularly update their respective records in the CWA in the following requirements. For Class A documents, number 1, registration certificate from SPC for corporate organizations, DTI for sole proprietorship or CA for cooperatives. Number 2, mayor's or business permit issued by the city or municipality where the principal place of the prospective bidder is located or the equivalent documents for exclusive economic zones or areas. The updated field job registration shall be submitted in the technical document component of the bid to be considered eligible. The renewed mayor's or business permit shall also be submitted as a post-qualification requirement in accordance with Section 63.2 of the IRR of RA 12009. The same shall apply to the other Class A eligibility documents. Number 3, tax clearance for EO 398 Series of 2005 has finally reviewed and approved by the Bureau of Internal Revenue. For technical documents, number 4, statement of the prospective bidder of all its completed and ongoing government and private contracts, including contracts awarded but not yet started, if any, but are similar or not similar in nature and complexity to the contract of the bid. Number 5, statement of the bidder's single largest completed contract, similar to the contract of the bid except under conditions provided for in Section 52.4.2.4 of the IRR of RA 12009. All of the above statements 4 and 5 shall include all information required in the PBDs prescribed by the GPD. 52.4.2.4, the bidder must have completed an SLCC that is similar to the procurement project to be bid, and whose value adjusted the current prices using the PSA consumer price indices must be at least 50% of the ABC to the bid, provided that any change to the 50% requirement may be allowed is subject to the recommendation of the procuring entity which shall be submitted to the GPPD for consideration. Provided further that contractors under small A and small B categories without similar experience on the procurement project to the bid may be allowed to bid if the cost of such contract is not more than the allowable range of contract cost of the registration based on the guidance as prescribed by the class. Moreover, a contract shall be considered similar to the procurement project if it has the same major categories of work. The procuring entity may clarify the bidding documents what is regarded as major categories of work, guided by the principle of proportionality and fit for purpose approach. For the entire DPWH, determination of major categories of work are defined in Department Order 164 series of 2025. 52.4.2.5, the SLCC should be supported by a certificate of final acceptance issued by the project owner other than the contractor or final rating of at least satisfactory in CPS for a similar performance in monitoring system. In the case of contracts with the private sector, an equivalent document should be submitted. 52.4.2.6, the computation of the bidder's NFCC must be at least equal to the ABC to the bid calculated as follows. NFCC equals current assets minus current liabilities multiplied by 15 minus the values of all outstanding or uncompleted portions of the projects under ongoing processes, including awarded contracts that will be started coinciding with the procurement project provided that a different formula may be adopted subject to the recommendations of the procuring entity, which shall be submitted to the GPD for consideration. The value of the domestic bidder's current assets and current liabilities shall be based on the latest AFS submitted to the BIR. Each partner of the joint venture shall submit their respective diligent certificates of registrations in accordance with Section 20.2.9.1 of this IR. The submission of technical and financial eligibility documents by any of the joint venture partners constitutes compliance provided that the partner responsible to submit the NCC shall likewise submit the statement of all ongoing contracts. Number 6. Valid Philippine Contractors Accreditation Board license or special TCAB license in case of joint ventures and registration for the type and cost for the contract will be. For financial documents, number 7, the prospective bidders audited financial statements showing, among others, the prospective bidders' total incurred assets and liabilities, stock received with the BAR or its duly accredited and authorized institutions for the preceding calendar year, which should not be earlier than 2 years from the date of bid submission. Number 8, the prospective bidder's computation of net financial contracting capacity. 52.4.2.6, the computation of a prospective bidder's NFCC must be at least equal to the ABC to the bid, calculated as follows. NFCC equals current assets minus current liabilities multiplied by 15 minus the value of all outstanding or uncompleted portions of the projects under ongoing contracts including awarded contracts yet to be started, coinciding with the contract with the bid. The values of the domestic bidder's current assets and current liabilities shall be based on the latest AFS submitted to the BIR. For Class B documents, joint venture bidders shall submit the JVA in accordance with RA 4566 in its IRR. Each party of the joint venture shall submit their respective proofs of certificates of registration in accordance with Section 20.2.9.1 of this IRR of the IRR of RA 12009. The submission of technical and financial eligibility documents by any of the joint venture partners constitute compliance provided that the partner responsible to submit the NFCC shall likewise submit the statement of those ongoing contracts and other financial statements. Other technical requirements: if joint venture agreement, if securities as applicable with securing declaration, ISO 9000 certification or its latest version is applicable, duly signed organizational chart, duly signed list of key personnel for the contract with supporting affidavits of commitment to work on the contract with key personnel and DO 98 series of 2016, revised guidelines on the accreditation of contractors and consultants to the The minimum work experience requirements for the key personnel are the following. For the proposed position as applicable, project manager, years of total experience, years of total similar and related is 5 years, similar position is 5 years. Project engineer, total similar and related, 3 years, similar position 3 years. Materials engineer, total similar and related, 3 years. assigned this to contractors needed construction and laboratory equipment, pledge to the contract. Please refer to the ordinance series of 2017 for the minimum materials testing equipment and section 63.3B of Article 009 in relation to item 16.5 of the Philippine Bidding Document, May 2025 edition. Certification as to the availability of equipment under lease agreement or under purchase agreement must be notarized. Omnibus warrant statement. The minimum major equipment requirements for contract ID number 25F00592 are the following. Backhoe, all models, 0.80 cubic meter or 1.05 cubic yard, 150 HP, required is 1. Backhoe wheel mounted, all models, 0.28 cubic meter or 0.37 cubic yard, 50 HP, required is 1. Bulldozer, all models, 167 HP, required is 1. Cargo or service truck, all models, 90 metric tons, 270 HP, required is 1. Cargo or service truck, all models, 2 to 5 metric tons, 160 HP, required is 1. Concrete batch plant with updated calibration certificate, 30 cubic meter, required is 1. Dump truck, all models, 12 cubic yard or 9.175 cubic meter, 290 HP, required is 3. Low bed trailer, 25 metric tons, required is 1. Motorized road grader, all models, 160 HP, required is 1. Payloader, all models, 1.50 cubic meter or 1.95 cubic yard, 110 HP, required is 1. Payloader at disposal site, all models, 1.50 cubic meter or 1.95 cubic yard, 110 HP, required is 1. Transit mixer, all models, 5 cubic feet per minute, 175 HP, required is 4. Vibratory roller, all models, 10 metric tons, 125 HP, required is 1. Water truck or pump, all make 60,000 liters, 360 HP, required is 1. Support equipment, total station under OCM with updated calibration certificate, required is 1. Support equipment, genset under OCM, 6 kVA, required is 1. Support equipment, tower lights, 2 by 400 watts, under OCM, 5 HP, required is 1. Support equipment, automatic ladle under OCM with updated calibration certificate, required is 1. Tractor, required is 1. For contract ID number 25F00605, the minimum major equipment requirements are the following. Asphalt distributor, all models, 3,000 USG, 100 HP, required is 1. Backhoe, all models, 0.80 cubic meter or 1.05 cubic yard, 150 HP, required is 1. Backhoe wheel mounted, all models, 0.28 cubic meter or 0.37 cubic yard, 50 HP, required is 1. Cargo or service truck, all models, 90 metric tons to 70 HP, required is 1. Concrete batch plant with updated calibration certificate, required is 1. 30 cubic meter capacity. Crawler crane, standard boom, all models, 36 to 40 metric tons, 190 HP, required is 1. Diesel hammer, all models, 7,500 kilogram per meter, required is 1. Drop hammer, required is 1. Dump truck, all models, 12 cubic yard or 9.175 cubic meter, 290 HP, required is 3. Low bed trailer, 25 metric tons, required is 1. Motorized road grader, all models, 160 HP, required is 1. Payloader, all models, 150 cubic meter or 1.95 cubic yard, 110 HP, required is 1. Transit mixer, all models, 5 cubic feet per minute, 175 HP, required is 4. Truck mounted crane, standard lattice boom, all models, 41 to 45 metric tons, 246 HP, required is 1. Vibratory roller, all models, 10 metric tons to 125 HP, required is 1. Vibro hammer, all models, 60 tons, 201 HP, required is 1. Water pump, 100 millimeter suction diameter, 2,667 liters per minute, 50 millimeters, 16 HP, required is 1. Water truck or pump, all mix, 16,000 liters, 360 HP, required is 1. Support equipment, total station under OCM, with updated calibration certificate, required is 1. Support equipment, genset under OCM, 6 kVA, required is 1. Support equipment, tower lights, 2 by 400 watts, under OCM, 5 HP, required is 1. Support equipment, automatic level under OCM, with updated calibration certificate, required is 1. Tractor, required is 1. For contract 00612. The minimum major equipment requirements are the following. Asphalt distributor, all models, 3000 USG, 100 HP, required as 1. Backhoe with pavement breaker, all models, 0.80 cubic meter or 1.05 cubic yard, 150 HP, required as 1. Boom truck, all models, 197 HP, required as 1. Bulldozer, all models, 167 HP, required as 1. Cargo or service truck, all models, 90 ton metric tons, 270 HP, required as 1. Concrete batch plant with updated calibration certificate, 30 cubic meter, required as 1. Dump truck, all models, 12 cubic yard or 9.175 cubic meter to 90 HP, required as 1. Low bed trailer, 25 metric tons, required as 1. Motorized road grader with scarifier, all models, 163 HP, required as 1. Payloader, all models, 1.50 cubic meter or 1.95 cubic yard, 110 HP, required as 1. Payloader disposal site, all models, 1.50 cubic meter or 1.95 cubic yard, 110 HP, required as 1. Vibratory roller, all models, 10 metric tons, 125 HP, required as 1. Water truck or pump, all makes, 15,000 liters, 260 HP, required as 1. Support equipment, total station under OCM with a data calibration certificate, required as 1. Support equipment genset under OCM, 6 kVA, required as 1. Support equipment, tower lights, 2x400 watts under OCM, 5 HP, required as 1. Support equipment, automatic throttle under OCM, with a data calibration certificate, required as 1. Truck tractor, required as 1. For financial requirements, duly signed bid form, all pages must have signature box in the standard format of the bid form. Duly signed bill of quantities including summary and bid prices. Duly signed or initial detailed estimates. Further instructions and clarifications and submission of technical and financial documents. Bidders are required to include ISO 9001 certification or its latest version as applicable. As part of the project requirements and the bidding documents for infrastructure projects, through Department Requirement Number 110, Series of 2024, implementation of ISO 9001 certification requirement for large A, medium B, and medium A, and factors in the procurement of the infrastructure projects of the department. For those who wish to use bid securing declaration as bid security, use bidding format for Department Memorandum Security 5 Series of 2020 uploaded and included on the DPWH website. Similarly, use the uploaded on new omnibus warrant statement format. Prospective bidders are required to use the appropriate and correct format of the omnibus warrant statement pertaining to the authority of a signatory according to the type of the business organization, for example, single partnership, corporate, cooperative, or joint venture. Failure to do so will be treated as a misdeclaration to the prospective bidder and will be a ground for the non-compliance of the bid. Prospective bidders are reminded of the provision that equipment capacity is specified in the data sheet shall be mandatory and absence of the same shall disqualify the exercise. All requirements stated in the data sheet are mandatory, hence in the same manner that the items of work and the corresponding quantities involved are fixed in mandatory and bill of quantities. The type of equipment, their respective capacities and number of units required are also mandatory in the list of equipment pledged for the contract. Failure of the respective bidder to state a complete technical description of the pledged equipment and the specific location, whether owned, leased, or under purchase agreement, shall result in the bidder's automatic post-disqualification and forfeiture of the bid security. The TWG shall conduct inspection of the pledged equipment as to their availability and efficiency. Equipment pledged for one awarded project shall not be pledged to another project bid out on the same date or immediately after the bidding of the awarded project. Equipment pledged on several projects bid out on the same date wherein the bidder is potentially the winner of these projects will be granted for the bidder's post-qualification in the other projects. Review documents to be submitted to avoid ineligibility and non-compliance of bid. Check the validity of permits, licenses, registrations, and clearances. Check the completeness of the form and substance with bid security, affidavits, declarations, and other notarized documents. Use the new bid form for infrastructure JPT resolution number 16-2020 and circularized in the DPWH through DO 85 series of 2010. All entries required in the bill of quantities, such as those for the unit price and words and figures, and the total price for the item for both lump sum and non-lump sum items of work should be verbally put.
Kasi yung sinasabi natin yan, use the new bid form, GPPB Resolution 16-2020, circularized in DO 85 series of 2020, para ano pa rin yan, 9184. May bago tayo ngayon sa 12009. State mo na lang dyan. May 2025 edition ng Procurement of Philippine Bidding Documents. Philippine Bidding Documents issued by the GPPB for RA 12009 or under by the GPPB.
By the GPPB.
Under RA 12009. Dito sa likod yung mga bago na yun.
Yung GPPB mo, Maria.
Correction po. Use the new bid form for infrastructure according to May 2025 Philippine bidding documents issued by the GPTB under RA 009. All entries required in the bill of quantities, such as those for the unit price, words and figures, and the total price per item for both lump sum and non-lump sum items of work should be properly filled. Lump sum costs in the bill of quantities must be supported with detailed cost estimates showing the direct and indirect costs including tax. Provision of overhead and contingencies and miscellaneous for special items under the general requirements and facilities for the engineer shall not be accepted. Discounts offered in handwritten text in the bid form should be signed or initialed with the authorized managing officer who is authorized to sign the bid documents. Otherwise, the discount will not be accepted. Erasures, interdelineation, overwriting, and alterations in any document should likewise be signed or initialed by the bidder by the authorized managing officer. Brief explanation on the criteria for eligibility screening, preliminary pre-examination of bids, detailed evaluation of bids, and post-qualification. Process and criteria for eligibility processing shall be in accordance with sections 62.1 and 62.2 of the IRR of RA 12009 and the contract profile based on TU 164 series of 2025, revised guidelines for the determination of major and similar categories of work. Electronic eligibility processing through the civil works application shall be conducted simultaneous or ahead of the obtaining of the technical documents depending on the consistency of the network connectivity of the CWA. Preliminary examination of bids shall be conducted in accordance with Section 59 of the IRR of Article 009. Bids that fail to include any requirement from the checklist or incomplete or patently sufficient shall be considered as failed. Detailed evaluation of bids shall be in accordance with Section 61 of the IRR of Article 009. Bids shall be checked as to completeness, arithmetical corrections will be performed on computational errors, and omissions will be corrected to enable proper comparison on equal footing of all eligible bids. Post-qualification shall be conducted in accordance with Rule 10, post-qualification of the IRR of Article 009, verification, validation, and certain of all statements made in documents submitted by the bidder with the lowest calculated bid, using non-discretionary criteria as stated in the documents covering the legal, technical, and financial requirements. The provisions of the IRR of Article 009 and the DPWH Procurement Manual 2, infrastructure shall govern the instructions on the purchase of bidding documents. Only the owner of the firm or the authorized representatives named in CRC shall be allowed to transact business relative to bidding matters and purchase bidding documents for DO 176, series of 1993 and last reiterated in DO 187, series of 2001. Those representatives not included in CRC are required to submit special power of attorney or secretary certificate whichever is applicable. The authorized representatives issued with SPA or secretary certificate shall be required to present two valid government IDs and a printed copy of the document press list from the FILJA's posting of the contract to bid showing the name of their construction firm. The box secretariat will not be responsible for the failure by the bidder to pay the bidding document in time for the bid dropping due to late arrival, delayed processing of the order of payment or collection order, and the late payment of the bidding documents. Loss of the order of payment and supporting documents already released or issued by the box secretariat is not the responsibility of the box secretariat. Only the signatory may cancel or revise the duly signed letter of authority to purchase bidding documents. Bidding documents payments made for cancelled projects due to no funds approved or released, and for disapproved modification and or for late release projects that have already exceeded the 3-month period for award are non-refundable as a matter of policy of DPWH Regional Office 5.
May yung 3 month na yan, ano na lang yan, 16 calendar days, 2 months na sa 12/009. Calendar days.
Again po, bidding documents, payments made for cancelled projects due to no funds approved or released, and for disapproved modification and for late release projects that have already exceeded the 60 calendar days period for award are non-refundable as a matter of policy of the DPWH Regional Office 5. All prospective bidders shall attach to the technical component of the bidding documents for the following: straight line diagram in accordance with the templates prescribed under Annexes A-3 and B-5 A to B of DO number 246 series of 2024. Latest general information sheet reflecting the beneficial ownership information duly received by the Securities and Exchange Commissions for corporations. Instructions on the submission and dropping of bids. Follow the checklist of the technical and financial document requirements uploaded with the bidding documents for the contract and the bid. Absence of any required document shall be considered as failure of compliance on the required document and non-compliance of the bid. Chronologically arrange the documents in accordance with the checklist for the technical and financial documents. Provide index time and pagination and securely bind the documents. Affix initial on all the pages of the documents. The initials of the pages together with the pagination affirm the authenticity of the pages that they are indeed part of the submitted bid documents. Submit duly signed original and one machine copy of the bid documents. Machine copies of the documents must be from the original. Letter A, paste the original technical document in the envelope and securely seal it. Put a marking on the envelope containing the following text: original technical document, and name the batch chairperson, name and address of the procuring entity, contract ID, and the name of the project, and indicate the following: do not open before 10 a.m. of September 7, 2026. Do the same for the original financial documents and put both the original technical and financial envelopes into one outer envelope. Label the outer envelope as original bid, including the outer text for the marking. Do the same above procedures for the copy by marking the envelope as copy 1 for the technical and financial envelopes as well as the outer envelopes. Put the envelopes labeled original bid in copy 1 in one mother envelope and put the marking containing the following text: name the back chairperson, name and address of the procuring entity, the contract ID, and the name of the project, and indicate the following: do not open before 10 a.m. of September 17, 2026. Illustration of the instructions on submission and dropping of bids. as per memorandum dated May 28, 2026 with the subject strengthening disclosure of ongoing and awarded projects and verification of net financial contracting capacity in DPWH procurement. In the interest of ensuring transparency, accuracy, and strict compliance with procurement laws and regulations, this memorandum is hereby issued to reiterate and to strengthen existing policies and the disclosure of ongoing and awarded projects and the verification of the net financial contracting capacities of bidders in DPWH procurement. Pursuant to RA number 12009, its implementing rules and regulations, and relevant DPWH issuances, all concerned offices are hereby directed to strictly observe the following. Number 1. Disclosure during pre-bid conferences. All bids and awards committees shall expressly remind prospective bidders during pre-bid conferences of their obligation to fully and truthfully disclose all ongoing and awarded but not yet started contracts, including DPWH, other government and private contracts, by submitting the duly accomplished statement. The BACs shall also remind that failure to submit and declare any ongoing and awarded but not yet started contract constitutes a ground for disqualification and imposition of appropriate sanctions. Number 2, strengthen NFCC verification during post-qualification. BACs shall ensure that NFCC verification during post-qualification is diligently undertaken using a complete set of information, including but not limited to letter A, the bidder's statement of ongoing and awarded contracts but not yet started, submitted latest AFS and NFCC application. Letter B, official DPWH records reflected in the civil works application, project and contract management application, and other relevant department databases, and letter C, result of verification with other government agencies and private entities. Verification shall not rely solely on the submitted NFCC computation to the bidder or single database, but shall consider all available and updated records to ensure accurate determination of the bidder's financial capacity. Number 3, imposition of sanctions. Where verification establishes material misrepresentation, false statements, or non-disclosure of any ongoing or awarded but not yet started contracts that affect eligibility or violate the bidding documents, BACs shall impose the appropriate sanctions under RA number 12009 and its IRR, including post-disqualification and/or suspension or blacklisting. Other important matters. Prospective bidders are encouraged to conduct site inspection for them to determine whether this is the right project for them. Decisions on the back amending any provision of the bidding documents shall be issued in writing through a supplemental bid bulletin at least 7 calendar days before the deadline for the submission and receipt of bids. Minutes of the previous conferences of the conference will be posted in the back bulletin board, and prospective bidders are encouraged to read the minutes. Prospective bidders are also encouraged to regularly visit the postings and field jobs and DPWH websites to keep themselves abreast of the supplemental or bid bulletins that may be issued by the BAC. Prospective bidders are also encouraged to purchase bidding documents ahead of the bid dropping schedule. Prospective bidders' key personnel shall submit copies of their valid and updated PRC licenses or accreditation, whichever is applicable. Possible causes of failure of bidding are: number 1, no bids are received, all prospective bidders are declared ineligible, all bids fail to comply with LD documents or fail post-qualification, or number 4, the bidder with the lowest calculated responses bid refuses without justifiable cause or exempt the award of contract, and no award is made in accordance with Section 40 Act and its IR.
Okay, engage in the guardian. Any comment po, sir? So, since hindi naman apply coverage, so, pinupost na natin ito. So, this will be posted